Hello friends, hope you are all well. Friends, in our last video, to create a pathological center billing system, I had designed this user form for the entry of the items. We have seen this. Just I have made little modification here. Just I want to run this. You can see eight numbers of items has been added to this database. You can see the database in the back end of this user form. Here if I want to add a new item, see here the last item is the test code is 8, so I am adding another item new. Here you can see it is 9, it has become 9, and say sodium, say rupees 200, and if I add this, test code is 9, and if I add this, it will be add. You can see the test code here in the list box, that is 9, but when I clicked on add button, the test code is displaying 8. So friends, if I click on refresh button, it will display the current test code. So thus friends, we have added in our last video, we have added the items, and now friends, I have made little modification to get rid of these. That is, whenever I add item, it will add here in this list box as well as in this controls. That means 9 also be seen here in the test codes, or related items will be displayed. So for these friends, I have made little modification in this form initialize section. You can go there. Just first I used this code, these lines, 3 lines of codes, to display the records of this address, so that the current record can be displayed. But friends, it is not displaying the items. When I click on the add button, the current item is not displaying in the controls, though it is being though the current items are being displayed in the list box. But to get rid of this problem, I am just deactivating these lines of code and activating these lines of code. You can see, just I have added these lines of code here. Instead of these lines of code, I have added here these lines of codes. You can see I have added I have assigned the controls the value of sheet 1, and the second column, second row, first column, this is the second, and test name, this is the second row, second column, and test price, this is the second row, third column. And if I run this, friends, you can see, if I delete this, just delete it, again I will enter it. So new, now I am sodium, again writing sodium 200, add. Here you can see, friends, the current items is being displayed in the list box as well as in the controls. So this little modification I have made in this initialize section of this user form, so I can delete this section now. This is the little modification, friends, I have made subsequently to run this program smoothly. And again, friends, here I have, you can see the add button. Here I have these lines of codes for verifying the same records. If the test code is matches, then the program will be exit while adding, and then it will be added with these lines of code has been used. Here friends, in the delete section, you can see here delete. The code is similar, just I have before deletion, if answer is VB yes, then I have added just these lines of code. Sheet 1 dot activate, because I want to delete items from the sheet 1. So little modifications has been done subsequently for running this software smoothly. So I want to display the codes once again friends. Just add, this is for addition, you can see, and going updation here, this is the updation. It is same in the as in the past my step 1 video, step 1 of this program of this project. And this is the code for new addition, that will be increasing by 1. You saw when I click on new button, the test code has been added with 1. 8 has become 9, has become 9. Here in the delete section, I have used these lines of code, and finally in the refresh button, I have used these lines of codes to refresh the user form 1. Now friends, I want to move to my next part, that is second part, that is user form 2. Here in this section, I want to show you how a billing is being prepared. So let's run this first friends. See, when I run this, our pointer is displaying in the refer doctor. Here you can see the doctor reference control has set focus. So first when I run this, the cursor will blink here, and here I have taken these fields: ID number, date will be automatic, the current date, and refer ID, refer doctor, the doctor's name, and patient name, address, and here you can see sex, this is the male female, and age of the patient, contact number, and test item. You can see here these are the test item taken from this sheet 1, and the price. If text item matches, the price will be displayed automatically, and a test code will be displayed here. So friends, just again I run this, just take a entry. So take doctor name as S Rao, patient say Robin, address say Kolkata, and sex say male, age say 45, contact 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, and test name sodium. You can see the test code is being displayed here beside the test name, and price also being displayed here. And if I add this, see what happens. Add, here you can see the items has been added here in the list box. Here you can see the item code here, and item name, and amount, and this is the transaction ID 1. And if I want to print this, or if I want to add another item, such as in this ID number, you can see the ID number has become first name, then age, and then contact number. All has been concatenated here: name, age 45, and the contact number. And if I want to add another test to this ID, so just I click on the X-ray another ID, and you can see the amount has become 300, and add. And then if I click this ID, see the cumulative figure is 500. You can see in the bottom, at the bottom. And if I want to print this, just click on this print button. Here this printing will be done. Serial number and 2 items has been added. One is sodium and then X-ray, and total. And you can see bill number, patient name, sex, address, bill date, age, contact, and refer doctor's name. So thus printing will be done, bill printing will be done. We could have used the headings of this sheet of this page, but for the practice I just created the report only. So thus friends, how it is being prepared, I want to show you and analyze the codes. So just refresh this first. I have refreshed this. Whenever I refresh this, you can see this sheet, that is sheet 3. I have taken all the items in the sheet 3 report and has been deleted. So friends, just I want to show you how I designed this. So at first you saw this friends, here I run this, you saw the cursor is blinked here. Just I am deleting this for this moment. I want to delete. So you can see whenever I run this for the first time, the referred doctor control text box is being set focus, and how it is done. And here you can see our items has been added in this combo box. Here in this section you can see the items has been added. So this how it is being added, this has been, you know friends, this has been added at the initialize section of this user form. So let's go to the initialize section to add items in the combo box. You can see the names, the combo 6, and here the name is combo test. So first you can see, here you can see friends, the controls, these are labels and command buttons. Just I want to go to the initialize section, and here you can see in this level the total amount, cumulative amount. So before that I want to show you the codes of initialize section to add items in the in these combo boxes, as well as to set focus when I run this program, to set focus the cursor, or to set focus this control referred doctor when I run this for the first time. So just double click here, you can see the initialize section. Here you can see the to set focus, here the text doctor, here you can see the name of this text box control is text doctor, text dr, and this control will be set focus. Here for the set focus I have used this code. Whenever I run this control will be set focus, that means cursor will blink here in these controls. And to add items, you can see, you know this friends, how to add item in the combo box. I have just added 2 items for sex, that is male and female. So combo sex dot add item male, and combo sex dot add item female. You can see here the line of code. And to add item in combo test, here the test name, these items will be added from the sheet 1, because you can see here the I have in my previous video I have added items in the test sheet, that is the sheet 1, and price also. So here you can see the I have counted the total number of rows in sheet 1, and then for x is equal to 2 to t row, that means here the t row, and 2 from the second line. You can see the second line here, the records is started from the second line. So I have taken 2 to 2 t row, and then combo test dot add item. These lines of code, you know this phrase, how to write this code, how to add items in a combo box in such a way. I have done this in my previous videos several times. So combo box combo test dot list count -1, list index is equal to 0. That means the first column of the combo box will be added the items taking from the sheet 1, taking from the second row, second column of the sheet 1. Here the second row means x is equal to x, the value is 2, that means the row number is 2. So thus the items has been added in our test code. So to display the current date, here you can see another thing has been written to display the current date. Here in this section, text date dot value, here this is the text date, here this is the text date. You can see to display the current date when I run this, just I have written this line of code. And to display items in list box in descending order, here I have I want to add items to this list box from this sheet, that is sheet 2. Here in this sheet, from this sheet I want to take items from the I want to add items to this list box. So just you can you know this, I have added items in 4 column, and so I have written the list box 1 dot column count is equal to 4, and list box 1 dot column with 200, 100 and 100, 100. That means the fourth column, the column width has been assigned here, and then I counted the total number of rows, and for displaying the records in descending order I use this line of code. For x is equal to count to 3 step -1. Here this line of code will activate it, and it will display the records in descending order in the list box. And again then I have added item in the list box. Here in this line of codes you can see, here in this line of code I have added the text ID, and in this line of code I added the combo test, and in this line of code I had added the price and the transaction ID. Here friends, you can see that I have added items from the second sheet, and you can see the row has become started from 3. That means here is the value is 3, because you can see in the here first row, second row is 0. That means transaction ID will be 1 2 3 4 0 plus 1. So I have blocked this row with 0, and our record will be started from here. So I have taken 3 here. You can see here, you can see it will start from 3 up to 3, and you can see the text code, and you can see the text ID will take value from the third column, first third row, first column. This is the x is equal to 3, and the test name will take the value from the third column, from the third row, 9th column. This is the third row, 11th column, and this is the third row, 12th column of the sheet 2. So thus friends, whenever I add item, the item will be automatically displayed in the list box whenever I run this program. So thus friends, so these things has been written in the initialize section of this user form. Here this is the initialize section, and in the addition section friends, you can see another thing friends. Here when I click on this, you can see the corresponding test code and the price is being displayed. So how it is done, you can double click here, just change event. You can see here this line of code will perform this action, and you can see I have counted the total number of rows from the sheet 1, and here for x is equal, I took a for loop, and for x is equal to 2 to t row, and if this matches, if this sheet 1 dot cells x comma 2, that means x comma 2 sheet 1 go to the sheet 1, this is the name, and if the name matches, then the corresponding test price will be displayed here. If this matches, then LVL T code dot caption. LVL T code means here you can see in the second, here this is the level, and here LVL test code, that is T code, will take the value from this from the sheet 1 if this matches, and LVL price, the corresponding price will be displayed in the here in the it will be displayed, it will take the value this level LVL price. You can see, this is the LVL price, and it will take the value from this second from the third column of the sheet 1. You can see here this is the first column, second column, and third column. This is a test price. So I have written these lines of code. So the third column, value of the third column, second row is the LVL price, is the price. So it will take the value, this level will take the value if this matches. So now I close this if and for loop here with next x. So thus friends, I'm going to seconds form. So thus friends, when I click on this, if matches with the sheet 1, then the corresponding test code and price are being displayed. So friends, here in the addition section, friends, you can see add. This is the addition section. We know how to add items in any sheet. Here I want to add items in sheet 2. Here you can see I have taken a variable as string variable id, and here is the here if the text contact value is equal to null, then exit sub. You can check this blank value. So I have checked one blank value here. You can check many fields blank value, so this is not so much important here. It will be done subsequently. So to generate auto number, here you can see the auto id. Here you can see the id has been a variable, string variable, and it will hold the value of these patient name and concat sign, patient age and concat sign, and patient contact. All this will be added to this id, has been assigned to this id. And text id, I have trimmed it so that there is no any blank space between these. So I trim this id, and then I added this in a simple manner. I have total counted. I have counted up to the blank row of the immediate blank row of the sheet 2, and then I have started to add items in the blank rows like this. You know this, friends, how to add items. And here you can see in the last line of code, here you can see this is the transaction id, and the transaction id will be the will be added one with previous row. That means here you can see if I go to the sheet 2, here this is 0, and the first transaction id will be 1. 0 plus 1, then it will be 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 2. It will be 2. Here this will be 2, and like this. So just to do this, friends, I have written this line of code. In the 12th column, it will take the value from the previous row. That means the previous of blank row. That means the row where the data is existed. Here you can see data is existed in the sheet 2. Here this is this row. The first data is existed here, that is 0, and it will be added 1. It will be added with 1, and will go on. So here I have refreshed this. So thus, friends, I have written this line of code for addition. And for, you can say, for updation, here you can see, friends, click. When I click this, when I click any item, just take another item for Dr. S. Brown, say patient name Ravina, address say Kolkata, sex say female, age say 35, contact say anything, and test name say MRI, add, and another test I can add. Just click here. See, when I click here, the respective and records respective data is being displayed in the controls. So how you can see in the back end the sheet here, you can see, and a highlighted sheet has been taken as the column of the list box control. So here how it is being displayed in the controls whenever I click on these items. Just going back, so just double click here, you can see to display the things in the controls. Here the display the transaction ID and ID of the selected records. Here these lines of code for x is equal to 0 to listbox 1 dot list count, and here I don't need this. Here you can see the transaction ID dot caption will hold the value of the third column of the list index. Here you can see this is the LBLT ID. LBLT ID, here this is a label, and whenever the matches, you can see, just run this first. If I click here, you can see the transaction ID 1 is being displayed here beside this. It will be helpful, friends, when I delete these items, when I require to delete any items, or when I require to modify any items. This will be, the transaction ID will be required for matching. So friends, thus I have written this code. The LBLT ID will hold the value of the third column. The third column will hold the value. This caption will hold the value of the third column of the list box. Here you can see 3 means fourth column. 1 0 1 2 3. This is the fourth column. 1 2 3 4. 3 means, here you can see 3 means fourth. 0 list index means 1 column, 2 second column, 1 second column, 2 third, and 3 fourth column actually. And then friends, display all data of the selected records to the controls. I have written this line of code. If first I have counted the total number of rows in sheet 2, and then started from third row to the count, that means this. And if this is matches, means if transaction ID is matches with the 12th column, you can see the 12th column 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 and 12. If this ID matches, transaction ID matches, then these controls will take the value from this sheet and from this column. Row number and column number. Row number will start from 3. I is equal to 3. That means these controls will take the value from this sheet and from the respective column. That is third column, this is the fourth column, this is the fifth column, like this. So thus friends, whenever I click, it will show the data into the controls. And here friends, you can see I have just closed this end if with end if, and next and here I want to take the cumulative amount, and so I declared a variable as long, that is amount has become long, and I have used the sum if function to get the cumulative total of the items. And it will be required if any patient wants more than one testing, then the cumulative amount will be displayed in the at the bottom in this level, that is LBL cum dot caption. So friends, you can see here this at the bottom here LBL cum. So if I run this, and if I want to test, I want to add more test to this transaction ID, to this name, so I can click this and X-ray. So if I click, and now it has the cumulative is 1500, you can see at the bottom, and that if I add this item, that is 300, it should be 1800. So add it, it has been added, and click this item. Here you can see it has been 1800. You can see friends, all times the current record is being displayed at the top of the list box. For this line of code in the initialize section, you can go there. For this line of code, for this line of code, for this line of code, lines of code, and I use the step function and to display the current record always at the top of the list box. So thus friends, if I click, you can see it has been 100 and 1800. So thus friends, we can add these items. And to update friends, just click, select any item. If I want to add items, update this, instead of X-ray I want to take I want to take TSH. So if I update this, see the transaction ID second will be updated, only the second transaction will be update. So here you can see, and you can see it has been 1750, it has been updated. To update this, I know friends, you can update this. In my last videos I saw you how to update. So thus, to update this, I counted the total number of rows in sheet 2, and then I started from the third row of the sheet 2, and again I use this if statement condition, that if this TID, always transaction ID, will be action for always this transaction ID, you can see this ID will be matched, will be taken into account. Okay, it is matched with the database of sheet 2. So if this matches, if transaction ID is matches, then the specific record will, data will be updated. So to update this, I use this line of code. That means the first column of the sheet 1 will take the value of the text ID, and so on, like this, this, and this, and thus all the respective fields of the sheet will take the value from these controls here, to update this. So then I close this if and next and refresh this. So thus you can see how to update this. And delete, to delete this, friends, just go to delete. Again the transaction ID has been taken into action, and total counted the number of rows in sheet 2, here you can see, and then started from the third column, and again this line of code, if transaction ID matches, the specific record will be deleted. Then sheet 2 dot activate, I want to activate sheet 2 because I want to delete records from the sheet 2. It matches, transaction ID matches, and then the respective row will be selected, and then I have used a message box. It should be deleted or not, sure deleted, VV yes plus VV question mark. That means it will ask you if you are sure to delete this, and if it is yes, VV yes, if answer is VV yes, then selection dot delete, it will be deleted. End if, and this end if for this if, and this end if for this if, and next, and refresh. So thus, friends, I have deleted, write the codes in the delete command button, and to print this here finally in the print. So here in the print this, I have just assigned the value of this cell address, the statutory value from these controls. Here you can see in the sheet, here sheet 3, here this section B1 and BD1, B2, D2, B3, D3, and this is B4 and D4. You can see the field name, bill number, patient name, sex, address, bill date, age, contact, and doctor referred doctor's name. Here these are the fixed, and just so I took the value from the controls of the, here you can see these controls, you can ID, referred doctor, patient, you can see the data in the controls here. Just this data will be has been assigned to these cells. So in the print section, I just assign the cells to this value of the controls here, and then to add items in the second part, that is from the 7th column, that is from the 7th row. To add items, I have just created, I counted the total number of rows again of the sheet 2, and then started from the 3rd column, and if this matches, again if here in this section I want to match the ID. What is ID? You saw this ID. If this ID, you can see the ID here, you can see the ID name. If this matches, then the ID is unique, and then all the test under this ID of this patient will be taken in the test in this section. that is all the test in the under the test column, all the amounts of the test will under the amount column, and serial number will be 1 2 3 how many tests. So here in this section this id must be matched. So here you can see I wrote this, if the transaction id here, if the text id, this is text id, that means the it is the id of the patient, text id. You can see here, you can see the name, just click here, you can see the id, the id of the patient, if it is matches. So if it is matches with this first column sheet 1, you can see the first column of the sheet 1, there is sheet 2 actually, there is the IDs. If this matches with this sheet 2, first column of sheet 2, first column of sheet 2, then I have counted the total number of rows in the sheet 3, because I want to display the report or the bill in the sheet 3. So I have counted the total number of rows in the sheet 3, and sheet 3 dot cells T row, here the T row, the last record, and last row, and this is the last row plus 1, that means the blank row will hold the value of 1. Here I have used 1 for displaying 1 in every row for the first time, then I will change it to say a serial number. So in that so it will take into action just little later, I will tell you. So this is the main things. This is the second column will hold the value from the 9th column of the sheet 2, and this is the third column of the sheet 3, and it will hold the value from the 11th column, that is the price. And this is the test, you can write is a test name, test name and test price, and this is the serial number. So like this. So I have just closed this with next I. So thus our, if this matches, the following functions will be executed, following line of codes will be executed, and then print running serial and total with right alignment. Here the here I have total again counted the total number of rows, and for 7 to 0, you can see here in third column this is the 7th, you can see for it will start from the 7th row, and so it is started from the 7th row to 0, and sheet 3 dot cells T1 T, here the T means 7th, first column will hold the value of the 1, that means T means 7 and minus 6 is equal to 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. And now friends, this 1 will be converted to serial number 1 2 3 4 like this, and next T. So this is for the running serial and the alignment. And here I want to add total. Here the word total in the second column, here in the second column, here in this section when I total add this in the at the bottom, I want total the word total, and here the total value here in this amount section. So this is the second column, so I have in the second column I use this total will be displayed, and the second column will be horizontally aligned, right aligned, so that the total will be displayed in the right section. You can see here in the right aligned section the amount will be displayed in the aligned right. So this is the alignment. And the third, you can see the third column, that is the sum, that is the total of the all tests, and it has been the sum of column C. You can see here the C column, here is the C column, and the amount will be added here. All the items will be added. So print, and then I took a border line so that it can be bordered. So I again I counted the total number of rows, and border will be given from the sixth row of the sheet 3. Here the border will be started from here, from the sixth row here. This will be started from the sixth row here for this. So I took sixth row and to b row, that means the total number of rows. And then you can see I started the I bordered the every row Excel continuous is equal to Excel continuous. That means the first column will be dot borders dot line style. This is the syntax is equal to Excel continuous. Similarly, this is the second column, and this is the third column. And next B, refresh, unload user form 2 and sheet 3, and here for the refresh, and here for the refresh of this user form I use this function. So thus friends, printing is done. So this is the printing is done, friends, and you can see the lines of codes here in the print section I have used. And to refresh this user form, here you can see I want to delete these items first. Just run this first. Here if I run this print, to delete the previous bill up to the 6th column, I just up to the 7th column, actually I want to delete this. Actually just going back to the sheet 3, here I need to delete this section to get to make it ready for the next bill. So I will need to delete this for this new bill. So for these friends, to refresh this, here I have total counted the number of rows up to the blank rows of the sheet 3. Here 0, and for 0 is equal to 0 to 7 step minus 1 up to 7th row it will be deleted. And this you can see up to this section it will be deleted from the bottom. From the bottom it will be deleted 1 2 3 up to this section, up to this 7th. So 0 to 7 step minus 1 and sheet 3 dot cells C, 1 entire row dot select. I want to select the entire rows, and selection dot delete. Next C. So I deleted the previous bill to make it ready for the new bill. So then I refresh this user form here. Thus friends, I have created this user form, and you can see print, see like this. And if I want to just print any bill, just before that we need to refresh first. So you can see the total number of rows has been deleted, and select any bill, just print. You can see closed. And if I want to add more than another item for this, say sugar, in this ID number, so say sugar, you can see 1750 and another 100 sugar first added. So you can see the sugar first has been added, and it has become 1850. So to print this, I need to delete this first to refresh this. Refresh and then select and print. See what this bill is being generated. So now we can print this. You can print this here. So thus friends, I have created this user form and this second part, and this is the final part of the billing system, front office billing system of a pathological center. Just you can practice this friends, and if you have any question, please comments me, and I will try my level best to answer your question. And you can I can show you friends the codes in these command buttons here. Again you can see this, all the codes here. You can see these codes in the respective command buttons. All the codes is being, I think, has been analyzed. And if you have any question, please comment me friends. And friends, again, if this is little helpful to you, please subscribe this channel friends, and it will be a great boost for me. Thank you friends, thank you very much for viewing this. Thank you friends once again.